Good morning, everybody. We want to recognize the absence of Chairman Porteous, who's home not feeling well, and Vice Chairman Lyons. I'll be conducting the meeting. I'd like to welcome you to the regular session of the Yuma County Board of Supervisors, also sitting as all special taxing districts. November 18th, 2024. Board members will attend either in person, by telephone, or remotely via electronic conferencing. We'll call this meeting to order. We'll ask Supervisor Hank Krause to lead us in the pledge.
Will everyone please join me in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll go to open the meeting for call to the public. Call to the public is held for public benefit to allow individuals to address issues within the board's jurisdiction. Board members may not discuss items that are not specifically identified on the agenda. Therefore, pursuant to the Arizona Revised Statutes, action taken as a result of public comment will be limited to directing staff to study the matter, responding to criticism, or scheduling the matter for further discussion and decision at a future date. Public comments may be made in person or submitted by email at publiccomment@yumacountyaz.gov. The email forms of public comment will be accepted until 8 a.m. in the morning of the meeting. All public comments will be read aloud during the Yuma County Board of Supervisor meeting that starts at 9 a.m. Desiree, do we have any
Yes, we do.
emails?
Yes. We received an email from Aaron Akun regarding absentee ballot experience. Good morning. My name is Aaron Akun, and I am a Yuma County resident on active duty, currently stationed in Maryland. This recent election cycle, an absentee ballot was not mailed to me on time. I had filled out the appropriate requests back in March and October. When I called and inquired roughly a week before the voting deadline, the voter specialist, Lupita Chavez, acknowledged all paperwork was appropriately submitted and that the recorder's office had made the mistake by not sending me an absentee ballot. Ms. Chavez did not know why this mistake had occurred. She was wonderfully polite and helpful and was able to arrange an email absentee ballot. I was able to complete the electronic absentee ballot without issue and verify that it was submitted and received in Yuma. I found it frustrating that despite submitting my paperwork for an absentee ballot on time, it was not sent to me and I had to take additional actions to get a ballot and vote. For additional context, I had previously received absentee ballots for other elections without issue. Furthermore, my wife completed the same paperwork I did this election cycle and received her absentee ballot without issue. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ian, do you want to say anything about that?
I don't know if I can really get into discussion, but I'll just make sure the recorder's office is aware of that comment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Xanthi Bullard. Can you state your name? And
Xanth Bullard, and I am the chair of a ballot access political party here in the County of Yuma. Mr. Vice Chairman, members of the board, I want to make it clear that my concerns today have nothing to do with partisan politics. I come before you to ask you to investigate and address multiple concerns this county experienced during the November 5th general election, which I and others believe led to voter disenfranchisement in this county. I would like to begin by acknowledging the long hours worked by our election officials and staff, and I express my appreciation for their hard work and dedication. It's that dedication that leads me to ask you to investigate what caused these issues and to include the findings in your official canvass of the general election. I do not seek to call out any specific individual, as I truly believe that those involved in the election process aim to provide voters with the best service possible. However, there are several issues that did arise during this election which prevented that from happening. With proper planning and foresight, I believe most of these situations are avoidable, and there is a real opportunity to learn from and improve the services provided to voters in this county. My request today is that you take that opportunity to ask the right questions and seek the answers needed to improve services so that voters across this county do not have to wait in line to vote past 10 p.m. on election night again. I do want to stress that the county was affected by these issues and all voters in this county were affected. We cannot know for certain which voters or their political affiliations were disenfranchised. I mention my title only because it entitles me to certain voting and election-related information and obligates me to participate in checks and balances of the voting process, and this gives me a vantage point that many of our county voters do not have. Yuma County has a duty to serve all its citizens and voters, and with this in mind, I share these concerns. First, there was a lack of accessible notice provided to voters in San Luis about the new voting location, as well as a lack of bilingual information on the county website for elections in a VRA district. Additionally, the website's translation features do not work, which are all issues that should be addressed and not dismissed lightly as they were when they were brought to the attention of election officials. We sometimes forget that our county is affected by factors such as lack of rural mail delivery and unreliable or unaffordable access to internet and cellular service. Election officials had problems with printers and printing ballots on election day, which caused extremely long lines at every vote center in the county throughout the day. There was little or no contingency plan for such issues, leaving election officials very few avenues to resolve the printer problems and long lines. The average wait time at most locations, as reported by observers, was 3 hours. And Yuma County was the last county in the state to finish voting, even though, as mentioned earlier, voter turnout was lower than the average of the state, which was 75%. There were 13,703 late early ballots received on or before Election Day, and signature verification did not begin until Friday, November 8th. This delay reduced the ability of Yuma voters to cure their ballots by 2 calendar days. The rest of my comments are.
I have your letter. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Gail, our resident
Hi, Gail.
public speaker.
Good morning. My name is Gail Castricone. I am the neighborhood advocate for the Avenue B and C Colonia Butterfly Projects. I was honored to be the speaker for the Yuma County Health Resident Leadership Academy. The session was on civic engagement and my journey as a neighborhood advocate. I was a participant in the previous class in 2023. It has helped me have more tools to engage the needs of the BNC. I am still working on how to interact with decision makers and other partners to make improvements in the neighborhood. After 2 years, my daughter Laura and I were able to have a face-to-face conversation with our sheriff. We discussed the crime in the Avenue B and C Colonia. We met with him on Thursday at the meet and greet at Daybreakers Cafe. Yuma County is growing so fast that I think we should have the Sheriff's Department have 3 new deputies a year instead of just 2. Our public safety should be our #1 priority. The BNC alone, in just the last few weeks, we found out that there are 3 trailer parks that are very active in drug trafficking. The trailer park that we were distributing food boxes to is one of those dealing drugs. We were so disappointed because of vandalism at the clubhouse. We were hoping to turn it into an activity center. The residents were so excited to help, but now the owners shut down the clubhouse. Just this week, the gangs have tagged all of 5th Street with graffiti. The lettering is huge on the walls. Mr. Raleigh, who is on our committee, was the first one in the neighborhood to immediately paint over the graffiti on the wall. Mr. Raleigh owns the Linda Vista RV Park and has always been a good example to his neighbors. Unfortunately, many of the trailer parks generate at least 50% of crime in the BNC. They do not vet the residents, and many are slumlords, like the Bam Park that continues to be a shameful eyesore in our community. There are a lot of homeowners that have waited many years to see much needed improvements in the BNC. It is our goal that the next generation has a clean and safe environment to enjoy with their friends and their family. Have a very blessed Thanksgiving. God bless you, and God bless America.
Thank you, Gail. Where are we with band?
I'll send the board an update later this week.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll now go to presentations, proclamations, Yes, sir.
We've got Louis Galavis here, the city manager in Somerton. We just want to acknowledge his presence here. Just in case you want to say something about Somerton.
Hi, Louis. We won't put him under the bus right now. Okay. Do we have any appointments, proclamations, anything?
Yes,
All right. We will go to,
recognition.
yes, recognition of Mr. Louis Gordias for his years of service at the Parks Advisory Commission and contributions to the Gadsden Park in Gadsden, Arizona, and the mayor of Gadsden and the museum curator of Gadsden. What else can we add to
He's part of
that?
the history, guys.
It is, yeah, part of the
Not just a
original history
museum,
of
he's part of the
Gadsden.
museum itself.
Historian, yes.
And Rachel, we'll turn the time over to you.
Good morning, Vice Chairman Mines, members of the board, Rachel Stallworth, Yuma County Public Works. It's always a pleasure and it's a privilege to be able to recognize someone who has contributed so many years of service to their community and to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Commission. It's nice to see Parks Commissioners here this morning. And we wanted to be able to recognize Louis for his multiple years of service. And just as a little background, many of you may not know that Gadsden has had, well, they used that as a park starting in 1920. It was owned by the Edwards family, surrounded by dates, and they even had a circus there. Louis told me this, you know. And they've used that for community get-togethers forever. I even remember going, riding the train down there, and we would have parties there at the park. We can't take the train there anymore, but it sure was nice. I wished we'd do something like that again. But after 79 years ago, that area was abandoned, but it was taken back up. The Baxter family moved in. They put a square dancing platform in there. And so you can tell that the community it's well utilized, that park area. It's really kind of nice. And Gadsden itself used to have a bank there. It had a movie theater and lots of artifacts and everything. You can, thanks to Louis, he keeps those at the house. He's our historian for that area. And there was a bar, movie theater, all kinds of things there, restaurants. I used to go up, when I worked in San Luis, I would drive up there to go to the restaurant there. And I know many of you probably did too when the Matheny's were there.
In case you look at me.
That wasn't before his time.
I don't think so. But Little League has played there, and Babe Ruth and Louis coached a lot of those teams that took advantage of being able to participate there. It was well utilized. And at one point, the very first governor of Arizona actually went down there. They were considering Gadsden for the county seat at that time. They had a railroad depot, and so he could go into there. He had always wanted to be able to visit Gadsden, and they were thinking about that. That was Governor Hunt at that time, so around 1911, 1912. So in 1942, a young child was born in the barrio, in the north end of Gadsden, and that was Louis. He's been there forever. That's why he can tell you everything about the park and Gadsden itself.
Tony was there for that.
I remember that big thing.
But at 10 years old, he became probably, that was when he started his volunteer service to his community, helping them clear that area and everything. And he went on to work in a voluntary capacity throughout his community. He formed a nonprofit, the Gadsden Community Development Board, and they helped him with many of those things. But for 60 plus years, he worked with the Yuma County, the Yuma Country Club, and he developed the greens and everything at the Arroyo Dunes. So if any one of you have had the opportunity to golf there, you can thank Louis for developing that whole area in conjunction with Victor Blaylock at that time. So his efforts have been untiring in this area, and we just want to say thank you on the behalf of the commission. And he keeps an eye on the park to this day. So, and he's got a good view since he's right across the street. So, and if not for his efforts, the recreational opportunities in that area would not have been available. It's consistent what he's been able to do. No one is more deserving, I don't think, of this recognition. And with that, I want to give him a plaque, a certificate, and I'll just read this. But the certificate appreciation is presented to Louis Gradius. Louis, we want to thank you for your unending hard work, devotion, dedication, and contribution to making the Gadsden Park a well-deserved historical landmark of community pride. Your commitment and support to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Commission are truly appreciated.
Thank you.
So I'm going to hand this.
Louis.
You ain't going anywhere yet.
You ain't going anywhere yet. Back him up.
We need a speech.
Pictures.
We need a speech.
You want to get a picture right now?
No, let's wait.
Don't kiss him. Don't kiss him.
No, finish first, yes.
In just a minute. Okay. I can tell you that without the support of another individual, the bathrooms would not have been cleaned at the park, and there was a lot of partnership and help given and working with her husband. So Dee, Delia Gradius, I want to commend you. I want to thank you for your unwavering support and partnership in the preservation and maintenance of the historical.
Wait a second.
We appreciate your efforts and support.
Thank you so
Oh,
much.
thank you.
Check's in the mail.
Louis?
Now you have that.
This,
I have one more thing.
okay.
We
Oh,
wanted
wait, there's
to
more.
give you a little something in appreciation. This was prepared by the Yuma County Public Works Sign Department. And if you'll see,
Louis Jr., get up there and help your dad. Come on.
I'll let you see this too. Mayor of Townside of Gadsden, Louis Gradius. Guest historian, park commissioner emeritus, and one of the park rules that we'll never forget, lights out at 10 p.m. Okay? They do a beautiful job.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Louis, you want to say anything?
Oh, that's beautiful.
Louis, do you want to say anything?
Do you want to say
Do you
anything?
want to say anything?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate your years of dedication and service to the community.
Yes.
Man, a few words.
Oh, I can imagine.
We appreciate your wife pushing you all these years.
They want to take
Yes.
pictures?
Yes.
If it can, okay? I'll hang on to this for you. Okay.
Need a sign.
Louis, don't you guys want to join us? Ted, bring the whole family up for a picture.
Tony, would you like to hold that? Thank you.
You guys look different in the casino, but.
Okay, Louis.
You and I in the center.
Oh, my goodness.
Here comes Hopalong. That's what happens when you retire. Ted starts kicking.
Yeah.
Get in there.
And everybody's gonna look at me and face me, and certificates this way as well, please, so I can see them and get them in the picture. Perfect, thank you.
I'm fine.
All right, 1, 2, 3, good picture. Thank you so much.
We know you were behind the scenes.
Yes, I have a.
You said a lot different in the casino. Really quickly.
82 young.
Thank you. If every community had somebody like Louis and yourself,
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Thank you. What community do you want to adopt next?
A B&C.
B&C Colonial. Work with Gail?
Work with Gail.
We could move them over to B&C and they can work with you, Gail.
Yeah.
Antonio, you want to talk during the item, right? Yes. Okay. Now, from our wonderful airport
Yes.
director, Gladys Brown, and there will be a PowerPoint presentation, Tony, for your enjoyment.
I know.
Quick one, less than 9
Let me
minutes.
take my tie
Thanks
off.
for letting us give you a hard
Thank
time,
you.
Gladys.
Thank you, Vice Chair Lyons and Board of Supervisors, as well as community leaders and members within the public here. I'm very excited to do a quick speed date with you of an overview of the Airport Authority today as it stands, as well as answer any questions in the very end for clarification if necessary. Again, established in 1965, our mission is to provide a safe, efficient, customer-focused airport for all of Greater Yuma. Additionally, we have 5 different departments with 23 individuals that help maintain our property, which is over 1,000 acres of the combined 2 airports. These are our board of directors that are currently in the seated positions. Mr. Jones will be terming out, along with Mr. Gardner, who has elected to vacate his position to better serve his family, as well as contribute to where we need. So we'll be having Eric Sulzer from Somerton Airport come on to the board in January, and then Daniel Hahn, who's one of our general aviators, as well as community leaders. Just an overall slide. I always say this is a governmental slide, lots of words, but overall, it is an independent agency, the Airport Authority. We have about 110 home-based aircraft. That fluctuates in the winter, of course. And then, of course, we have Raleigh Airfield in the city of San Luis, which has no home-based aircraft today. However, through our partnership here at the county and with the Bureau of Reclamation, have been able to now be the assigner of the overall license permit, which is more than 30 years. You'll see in future slides about 49 years plus. Our operating fiscal budget for our airport is a little bit over $5 million, which has significantly increased, especially after COVID, which we were about 3.5 to 4 million. Just in those overall years, we've increased a little bit over $1 million. The civilian-owned side, of course, is the only one co-located in the United States with a Marine Corps installation. We're everything in the green. The Marine Corps Air Station is everything in the pink. With that, we do segregate the airfield. So you have commercial operations to the north. Westerly, you have general aviation as well as commercial operations. And then in the very southwest portion, you have Border Patrol, which is their Office Air Marine Division for both Yuma County and Imperial County. You also have your FedEx site there and all of your larger general aviation testing operators. You'll also see down in the southwest, that is the largest continuous acreage in one of the top 3 continuous acreage in Yuma County or in the city of Yuma of 80 acres, along with additional acreage for non-aeronautical use unless tied into the airfield of 30 acres, and then 11 acres on the non-aeronautical side north of the Joe Foss facility and Office Air Marine Division. Biggest thing for the county too is we work together for economic development is that 80 acres plus of continuous property and land right behind Border Patrol on Avenue A and the 4th Ave extension. Raleigh Airfield, situated in a very, very nice area just outside of San Luis, the city of San Luis. But the biggest thing for it, it does have a paved runway for Design Group 1, which is your smaller 12.5 and under, kind of your cargo caravan type deals like what you see for FedEx. The airfield itself is fully secured. It does have a hangar for a lease, but it is currently pretty much off the grid. So everything through the Bureau of Reclamation, we're able to have a generator and then pull well water for non-potable water. Today it's used for pilots and flight instruction as well as military operations as scheduled. We do, again, just recently have that license permit with the Bureau of Reclamation for 49 years. All funding for that airport is ADOT, the Yuma County Airport Authority, and then the Arizona Commerce Authority usually helps. Overall, our aeronautical revenue, as you can see here, is about $2.6 million. The majority of that, of course, is inside of our commercial hangar rents, our airline rents, and our FBO. I always say in non-aeronautical, so folks know when you rent a car from the airport, that really helps us significantly, as $2.3 million is our non-aeronautical revenue with car rentals. Then right behind that is our parking lot, which we took over about 6 years ago. And then also our sundry, which is through different revenue that we have and is growing. And that's because of the ICSA, which you'll see here with the Yuma Proving Ground that we hold. Our commitment and focus will continue to be our safety of our user operators, compatible working environments and welcoming environments, engaging and educating the community as we're doing today, and then of course to promote economic growth and business. Air service. So everybody got to see the quick clip last night. Load factors today, they look sad, but they're not. It's just that we have 5 flights to Phoenix, 1 to DFW. I know everyone saw the turnaround from the mechanical issue in the air last night. That is precautionary, of course. Everybody landed safely, and then that aircraft itself will be serviceable. Just so everybody knows, we do have mechanical delays. More so lately, we have weather delays. So DFW during the wintertime gets a little bit testy, but overall our service, I would say, is still reliable. We're with a legacy carrier, one of the top 4 legacy airlines, and so what I always talk about is promoting. What does that mean besides DFW and Phoenix? It means that we have the opportunity today to hold annual meetings with them, to go out and look at this very competitive market, and then also understand that there's pilots, there's a pilot issue out there, there's a maintenance issue out there as far as having qualified mechanics and just the cost to operate. So our key markets will continue to be DFW. Right behind that, of course, is Phoenix, maintaining that. Washington is actually in the top 3. Alongside that, though, is actually Portland, Denver, and San Francisco. Realistically, we're trying to get into the Denver market for tourism as well as connectivity through United. And due to COVID, just so you guys know, we were hopeful that 2025 would be new air service. COVID set everything about 4 years back. So newest service that I can say that is even hopeful is 2029. And that's through courtship and understanding as they exited markets during COVID, they're going to re-enter those markets and then look at new markets regionally. We'll have opportunity to look at ultra low cost carriers, but we have size restrictions based on terminal clearance to the taxiway. There's a lot more to that, but we can do that in the future. Airport in the works, so everybody knows. We are very proud that through the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law Act, we were able, through the airport terminal program, to get new floors. So when you walk through the terminal, about $1.2 million was invested through that bill funds. That is also, and the company that is doing and did the floors here is the same ones that are doing your county facility across the way. They were excellent in providing on time, if not prior to finishing to their schedule, and that they do warranty their quality. So if there is any issues, I think that you guys will see you will have superior deliverables on that one. We did take advantage, as sad as it is for those in the community. I understand that you would love to keep those bathrooms from 25 years ago, but we did have to take opportunity to go and renovate those, but there's still some other fun stuff that I'll do. So they will and can look out for that in the future of the entrances into the restrooms, but today those have been fully remodeled. And they have been very, very easy to sterilize. So that's the biggest thing we focus on, is the well-being and health of our passengers. And these new facilities provide us the opportunity to completely power wash and sanitize the facilities overall. We were, again, through the ATP bill funds, able to look at our infrastructure for security-wise, as those have improved and increased as far as what our commitment is to our Marine Corps installation and community. So we received a $1.3 million grant through the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law Act, through ATP again, in which we have a contractor installing new security gates as well as our system overall. And then through our entitlements program, and that means every time people fly, we go, those numbers help us secure entitlement funds, which could be used as restricted funds, is what most folks see for approved projects. And we are doing a rehabilitation of a taxiway. I always say I know how long ago it was built because it's the same age of my son, whose birthday is today. And so for less than, right under $5 million, we're going to reconstruct shoulders as well as rehabilitate the taxiway. Both are local contractors that are going to oversee the project and also place that new taxiway in. We'll do a companion grant to that, utilizing some of our soon-to-be expired bill funds. So that way we utilize all those funds and it doesn't go to somewhere else in the United States, and it's being used here in Arizona inside of Yuma County. With that, we also have, sorry, I don't know how fast my slides go here. Our partnership with the installation, developed in 1956 to the Department of Interior, we have a patent that says that we'll always have that ingress egress. The biggest thing that people need to understand is that our civilian airport and terminal, as well as our property, is adjacent to the installation itself. And therefore, we want to be in compliance, not just with FAA, but also DoD standards. We want to emphasize the development within the areas, especially those that are in the clear zones, accident potential zones, and also to understand the ACUs, which is the Air Installation Compatible Use Zones, and also by the FAA. So I always tell folks that these areas exist due to the military classification of the runways with certain thresholds of operations. And the biggest one to take home today is that there is currently the joint land use planning underway. And that is a joint community effort with all of the community leaders that are in this room, in the cities surrounding, as well as the military installation and the airport authority. And that at the end, we're going to have a mutual agreement upon what is it that we're going to look at and how those properties lie today. So I know there's a lot of questions on that one, but I do believe that you have the appropriate team members staffing that, as well as the right partners at the table. And if you're curious, and those in the room, you could always go to the planning events, which are open to the public. Community relationships, we do, which has just happened this last year, and I know this is of interest for the county, especially with our understanding agreement. The Airport Authority works as a pass-through agency and oversees construction projects that are within our purview and what we do today at the airport, but we do assist over at the proving ground. We do hold an open contract up to $10 million annually for the next 10 years. We're already finishing up our first year with the opportunity to increase that amount to $15 to $20 million per year. We did execute in the fiscal year of 24, $10 million worth of projects led by the Airport Authority, which did actually put close to $8 million into our community with local contractors and vendors. And then additionally, the Airport Authority has a fee of 15%, up to 15%, in which we pass through. It allows us to utilize local contractors here over at the installation, and at the same time build confidence so that they can then in the future bid additional work. But we started and closed smaller projects, and so that's been something very new this past year. And that was also placed inside of the DoD as far as information and news press is released. But that itself will become a different revenue center for the Airport Authority. And then supporting our general aviators, so we always want to promote those to fly. We also want to go and appreciate those who serve and volunteer for those who serve us to ensure we have an environment for them to feel comfortable in transition. And then we also do very community-related marketing versus traditional marketing. So we try to be seen everywhere you can think of in all the schools, all the way out to the city of San Luis, all the way to Antelope, and then all the way into the city. We try to touch everywhere we can, including we do reach into the Imperial Valley too to assist there to promote air service overall for both theirs and ours. You'll see us anywhere from the fair. You'll see us over at the Children's Museum. We try to put a little bit of us into the community anytime we can, and also into the arts as much as we can as well. So these are the commitments you see every year when we come here. Safety and security are our #1 priorities, and then the health of our customers, of course. We advocate not just for the future of aviation, but the creating economic growth, and then working in partnership to go and garner some of that interest and then get them to be here if they're the right fit for our community. So we'll continue to focus on industry demands and the changes that happen. But the biggest thing is you've got the right team working with the right people, and we really appreciate that. So in the end, this is what I invite, as I do with all of our different leaders in the community, as well as our legislative and political entities. Just come out and experience it with us. Come take a tour, see what we do, and then also see what your lease entails. And so we're very happy to welcome you guys to come on out with us when you have time.
I would add the right leadership at the airport, so thank you for all you do.
Yes.
Thank you. And thank you guys for using us. I know I see each one of you guys there, so I appreciate, and in the community, I see a lot of people in the room today that eat there, fly there, rent cars there. So we really appreciate that.
You've done an excellent job. Keep it up.
Yes.
That is what is CMCAE stand?
Certified airport executive, and then of course my background overall.
Okay.
But yes, those are all industry designations, and there's a few more hopefully I'll achieve in the future. But I am going to be serving into the president's seat for the regional sector of our professional organizations for for the state. They have 4 different regions, and so I'll be serving next year as the president of that organization, and hopefully that'll really help us. Biggest thing is rural airports feed metropolitan airports, so we want to make sure that we not just protect military installations, but also smaller air service and smaller airports around the nation as they feed, and they really do help grow our metropolitan areas.
Thank you, Gladys.
Thank you for
Any
everything you
questions,
do.
comments?
No?
I do want everyone to know with in conjunction with the Joint Use Land Compatibility Study and Planning Program, the Arizona Department of Transportation is also doing a land compatibility kind of information and guidance booklet and handout. So they are working through all of the different airports and communities to ensure that we have land compatibility use, as well as to align with not just military installations requirements and regulations, but also to ensure that we understand the Arizona state statutes. Thank you.
Thanks, Gladys.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
And good support staff here with you today.
Absolutely,
Hi,
Jen
Jen.
Rose, yes.
Thanks,
Nice to
Jen.
see you, Jen.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for being here. All right, El Condado Informado. Vamos.
Bienvenidos al Condado Informado. El día de hoy estamos en la Biblioteca Jurídica y estoy con María y nos va a dar mucha información muy beneficiaria para nuestra comunidad. María, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estás el día de hoy?
Hola, buenos días.
Muy bien. Entonces, María, estamos en la Biblioteca Jurídica. Yo sé que me hacen muchas preguntas en nuestra comunidad de todos los servicios que se ofrecen. Empezando, ¿cuáles son esos servicios que nos pueden ayudar a nuestra comunidad?
El servicio principal que ofrecemos aquí es formas de autoservicio, donde personas que ya sea que no les alcanza para contratar un abogado o que no necesitan, no quieren agarrar un abogado, pueden venir aquí y obtener los formularios y ellos mismos representarse.
Wow, eso es un beneficio muy grande, pero me imagino que es un poco nervioso, ¿verdad? Entonces, esas formas, yo vengo, pregunto, ¿ustedes me ayudan a escoger las formas adecuadas, las formas indicadas para cualquier sea mi necesidad?
Así es, nosotros te vamos a hacer ciertas preguntas para verificar exactamente qué tipo de caso es en el que tú necesitas ayuda y así nosotros poder darte la forma correcta. No podemos darte asesoría legal, pero podemos explicarte el proceso.
Entonces, son varios servicios. ¿Algún otro servicio que no hayamos mencionado que va a beneficiar al público?
Correcto. Tenemos uno que se llama abogado en la biblioteca. Tenemos un abogado voluntario, viene 2 veces al mes y hace consultas gratuitas. Para ese servicio solo nos tienes que llamar y ponerte en la lista de espera.
Muy bien. Entonces, ¿tiene que uno hacer cita antes de venir? ¿No puede nomás llegar?
Correcto. Para el de abogado en la librería, sí.
Okay.
Hacemos 2 veces al mes y hacemos 4 personas.
¿Y esas consultas gratuitas que son de 30 minutos, dijiste?
Correcto.
De 30 minutos, ok. ¿Esas pueden ser de qué tipo de caso?
Principalmente casos de divorcio y casos de tutela. También tenemos sesiones informativas donde presentamos casos ya sea de divorcio, de tutela, casos criminales. Un abogado viene aquí y hace una presentación gratuita frente al público y la gente puede hacer preguntas.
Muy bien. ¿Esa presentación típicamente qué tanto dura? ¿Es una presentación larga? ¿Es una presentación corta? ¿Cuántas preguntas podemos preguntar?
Puedes preguntar las que quieras.
Muy bien.
Aproximadamente la presentación tarda 1 hora, más o menos. Sí. La hacemos aquí en el cuarto de conferencias de la librería. Hay veces también la llevamos para la biblioteca pública del condado de Yuma y estamos tratando de llegar a la de Somerton y a San Luis, Arizona.
Muy bien, entonces recorriendo todo el condado para ofrecer estos servicios, algunos gratuitos para la comunidad. Ahora, ¿todos los servicios son gratuitos o hay un costo a alguno de los servicios?
Las presentaciones son gratuitas, no necesitas cita, nada más vienes. Las formas de autoservicio sí tienen un pequeño costo y sería todo.
Ah, pues muy bien. Entonces, me imagino que el costo va a ser mucho más pequeño que aquel costo de un abogado, ¿verdad?
Así es.
Entonces, muy bien. Para más información, el público, ¿dónde puede agarrar la información para venir, ya sea aquí, para preguntar sobre las formas o informarse un poco más sobre los servicios?
Pueden venir directamente aquí. Estamos adentro de la Corte Superior. Pueden chequear nuestra página de internet que está en el Yuma County Law Library y pueden llamarnos al 928-817-4165.
Muy bien, pues muchas gracias por toda esta información tan importante para usted, el público, y que sigan el buen trabajo. Y muchas gracias por haberme informado y espero que les haya gustado este episodio de información de la Biblioteca Jurídica.
Thank you very much. We're going to go to the consent calendar. Following items listed on the consent agenda will be considered as a group and acted upon by one motion with no separate discussion unless a board member so requests. In that event, the item will be removed from the consent calendar for separate discussion and action. Does anybody want to pull anything?
Well, a little explanation on 10. So.
Okay, somebody make a motion for everything but 10.
Motion to approve consent calendar 1 through 16 with the exception of number 10.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, number two.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman. Is Tony Badia here? We want to remove item 7. That item is not ready. Is that correct, Tony? Right. Yeah, so number 7 will,
Okay,
no
so
action is needed.
I'll amend my motion to exclude item number 7, which will continue to the next available.
Do you want to start all over again? 7 and 10, 7 to be continued. Do you have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you.
On number 10, Second Avenue and 217 South Second Avenue. Where
That's the old Camarena building.
The old Camarena building? So you're gonna redo the surface there? That's it? Parking lot?
Good morning, Vice Chairman Lines, members of the board. Tiffany Anderson, Facilities Management Director. Item number 10 here is for award of a bid to make the old Camarena property, in which we demolished 2 structures, into a parking lot.
So the idea is to have it remain a parking lot for a while.
For now, yes.
So we're gonna redo the floor and then reface it, replan it later on? What's the plan? Is there a plan?
There is a tentative plan for some very distant future to potentially develop that site, as well as the north property where the legal defender building is currently sitting, into a combined court services support building that would likely house public defender, legal defender, and conflict administrator, as well as some expansion from the court itself, which, as you all know, is at capacity.
Yes.
Okay, so we're not planning to do anything soon with that property?
No.
So
That's
we're-
correct.
We just wanna level that off and make it.
There's never enough
Your
parking down
parking
there,
spot is
so.
going to be over there.
Yes, supervisors, for now, we want to make sure that that property is serviceable and usable by the community as well as our staff. We know that parking is at a premium for those buildings up on the north end near the courthouse. And so since there isn't a definite plan on how to move forward, we would like that to be a parking lot for now.
Okay.
Public parking lot?
Correct.
Right, okay, I'll make a motion, we approve item number 10 as presented.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tiffany. Now we're going to open the regular discussion calendar. Discussion action items. The board will open each of the following items separately for discussion and action as appropriate. Number 1, county administration and grants. Discussion of possible action to conduct a public hearing regarding the amendment application to the Arizona Department of Community Development Block Grant fiscal year 2024 funding Avenue B and C Ferguson Lateral Sidewalk Project, and to adopt the resolution. This should be near and dear to Gail's heart.
Yes, it is.
Yes, good morning, Vice Chairman Lines, members of the board. My name is Veronica Garcia. I'm the grants administrator here with Yuma County. And so we come to you today to open up a public hearing as part of our community development block grant. We are required to conduct public hearing if there is a change of scope of work on our projects that were previously approved. Back in May of 2024, we came to you as a second public hearing, and 3 projects were confirmed to be approved to be submitted for our regional account for the community development block grant. One of those projects, we did have a change of scope due to the limited funding availability. And so we came to you on October to discuss some options on this project, which is the Ferguson Lateral Sidewalk Project. Originally, the sidewalk project was to do design and construction, and due to limited funding and price, construction costs and all of that, we aren't unable to do the construction portion at this time, but when we came to you in October, it was directed for us to proceed with the application to do design and environmental review on this project. So due to this, we submitted the application back to the Department of Housing, and we were required to conduct a public hearing for a third time on this, just so that the public is aware of this change. And then also to get a new resolution signed with the changes.
Any questions?
No problem, I understand. So you submit it to the state said conduct a public hearing to make sure that the change, which is substantial, is appreciated by the public. No problem. I'll make a motion, we approve resolution.
We need to open it up for public hearing, for public comment?
So we were.
Okay. We'll open it up for public comment at this time. Gail?
Thank you, Gail Castricone. I just wanted to reiterate things that we've always been saying, but with the Ferguson ditch, that has had school children that meet the bus there with debris, and we've had that debris for years and years. The water users have not been never moved forward in keeping that area clean. And so the children walk down that pathway, and we have syringes, we have broken bottles and glasses, we have condoms, we have discarded clothes, we have sometimes dead cat or a dead dog. And so we feel if we could move forward with this, that would clean up that area so well. And then we have the new houses that are being built next to it. And so we just really hope that this can be moved forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Gail. Thank you for being a champion of that area. Okay, we'll bring that back for.
Right, so the motion will be to authorize.
Mr. Chairman, we have a public comment.
Oh, okay.
The clerk will read.
We received this via email regarding the BNC Ferguson Lateral Sidewalk Planning Project from Luz Maria Grossenberg. My husband and I are opposed to using funds to complete the proposed project for a sidewalk along the canal. There are greater needs in the Avenue B and C Colonia, which would better benefit the community. For example, streetlights along Main and side streets within the Colonia. Also, a sidewalk that runs along Fish Street would be a greater safety benefit rather than a sidewalk along the canal bank. The amount of foot and vehicle traffic along Fish Street is significantly higher than that on the canal bank. We have been residents of the Colonia since 1991 and have always supported improvements that are primary and beneficial to the entire Colonia, not just those that live in one part of the Colonia.
Thank you very much.
I have a question.
Okay.
We're doing all this on right away, right? County right away. We're not doing anything that's private.
The Ferguson Lateral is part of the managed by the water users, the Yuma County water users, and when it is the we are working with them with an agreement, and also the Bureau of Reclamation. So we're
I just want to make sure we don't run into problems with the kid calls. Normally, when we do something that isn't on, that isn't on county property, this is CDBG funds.
Yes,
right?
CDBG
So
funding.
This is different. They're not directly county funds, so we can use them and
Yes.
as long as we have an
Yes,
agreement.
we have to apply for permits
That's probably-
with them and get the right.
So we do.
Right,
have
permitting.
agreement.
Okay. Tony, you had a motion?
Yeah, the motion is to approve resolution, to adopt resolution 2024-32.
Second?
And to authorize the
Oh.
chairman to sign the
I'll
application
second that.
certification statement, disclosure report, and all necessary forms for the application.
All right, we have a
I'll
second
second
from
that.
Supervisor Pancrazzi. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion carries. Thank you.
That's a lot's coming. I know it's tough for most people to realize this, but this process of preparing is really the way that government moves. I mean, if we have the plans, if we have everything, it means that some of this money will become available. When it becomes available, we'll be able to redirect it there without delay.
Thank you, Tony. Item number 2, Development Services Planning and Zoning Division, refer hearing officer case number 8023-0025 and HO 20-0067 to the county attorney for action in Superior Court to obtain an order of abatement for parcel number 669-46-269 located at 9325 East Ranch Drive, Yuma, Arizona. And for Tony's Viewing Entertainment, a PowerPoint presentation.
Another one?
Good morning, Mr. Vice Chair and members of the board. Carlos Gonzalez, Deputy Zoning Inspector, here to present the request to refer hearing officer cases HO 23-0025 and HO 20-0067 to the County Attorney's Office for abatement. The case does involve one property that's gone through the hearing officer process twice. Did you guys wish for me to present the full presentation, Mr. Vice Chairman?
Go ahead.
Yeah, as previously stated, the property is located at 9325 East Ranch Drive. It is, the parcel number is 699-46-269, and the owner of the property was verified to be John D. Ruff through the assessor's records. This is an aerial view of the property located on Ranch Drive. This is the most current case, HO 23-0025. That was presented to the hearing officer. The complaint was filed on April 24th, 2023. It had 2 counts with the storage of junk and the storage of trailers in the front yard setback. The defendant was served through the Yuma County Constable with the notice of the hearing and with the complaint. Summary, basically, the complaint was heard on June 1st. With 3 subsequent compliance hearings, with the case closing on February 1st, 2024. The defendant was present during the hearing, so is fully aware of the violations. The case was closed non-compliant. This is the one of the violations we're seeking to abate. Is the during this case a structure, a shade structure without a permit, and the storage of junk, trailers with junk, and inoperable vehicles, containers. The second case, which is the first one's HO 20067, the complaint was filed on January 29th, 2020. And that one had 3 counts with the a shed in the front yard setback, the storage again of junk, and the metal shade structure built without a permit. Again, the defendant was served with the compliance or with the notice of the complaint and the notice of the hearing. And in this case, the hearing was conducted on August 6th with 2 subsequent compliance hearings. Closing October 1st, the defendant was not present during any of these hearings. These were the site conditions. They have not changed at all since this first case. And these are the current site conditions. October 16, I took these photographs here. The shade structure remains. The miscellaneous items, the containers, scrap metal, inoperable vehicles, trailers haven't moved. Really, there has been no change to the condition of the property. All the violations remain. Mr. Chairman, due to the ongoing and repetitive violations, staff has recommended the case be referred to the County Attorney's Office for abatement.
Thank you. Open it up to a public hearing at this time. Going once, going twice. Close the public hearing, come back to the board.
No, okay. Well, we've been talking about trying to get these cases to move along as fast as possible. This one has been 5 years now, if I remember correctly. So I'll make a motion to refer the cases to the county attorney office.
No second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. You go on to planning and zoning. Planning and zoning agenda, the full legal descriptions of property sites for all rezoning cases are available for public review at the Yuma County Board of Supervisors office. And we will have a full presentation. Staff will make a full presentation on each of the following items, followed by separate discussion, public hearing, and action by the Board of Supervisors. We'll go to item number 1. Text amendment case number 24-01, a text amendment to the Yuma County Bikeway Master Plan and update to the map.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Javier Barraza, Senior Planner, presenting text amendment 24-01, request to amend the Yuma County Byways Master Plan. This plan was adopted by the Board of Supervisors on February 7, 2022. This is a dynamic document that needs updates every now and then. Recently, the city of UMass, San Luis, and Somerton, and also updated their bicycle routes throughout, and also there was found a discrepancy on the map, and staff proceed to update the maps. And this is the updated map, and Planning Commission recommends approval of TA 24-01 to update the Yuma County Byways Master Plan map. And that concludes
You
my
back it up, just back it up. Yeah. There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
What about public hearing?
Yes, we'll open it up for a public hearing at this time. Going once, going twice, going three times. Antonio, you have 2401. Do you want this one or the next one?
The next
one. Next, okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the text amendment case number 2401, which isn't a case, it's just a more an amendment to the plan.
I'll second.
An update of the plan.
Okay, I have a second from, our first from Supervisor Reyes, second Supervisor Pancrazzi. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I forget that I need to ask if anybody's opposed, right? Just making light of that. Okay, we'll go to item number 2, Development Services Planning and Zoning Major Amendment Case 2401 or PA 2401. Arturo Garcia Inovar, agent for the Long Family Trust, requests to change the land use designation from 3.22 gross acres in size from agricultural rural to low-density residential, assessors parcel 66-12-014, located at 8323 South Shannon Way, Yuma, Arizona, located in the 65 to 69 decibel noise zone.
Thank you, Vice Chairman Lyons. Jesus Garrillo, Senior Planner, presenting Major Amendment Case 2401. The request is to change the land use designation of a parcel 3.22 gross acres in size from agricultural rural preservation to low-density residential. Property is located in the Gila Valley Planning Area, 8323 South Shannon Way, located in 65 decibel noise zone, and the intent is to rezone the subject parcel from rural area 20 acres minimum to low-density residential 40,000 square foot minimum in order to allow the split of the subject parcel for residential development. This is the land use map. Property it's surrounded by agricultural rural preservation and open space. To the east is currently designated rural density residential. This is the SEPN that's submitted by the applicant. The intent is to split it, create 2 parcels. There's a current location of a home. There's the reviews on the property. These comments from MCIS. The neighborhood meetings held on September 5, 2024 and September 12. Staff did not receive comments and concerns about the request. Later on the time, received 2 letters in opposition within the 300-foot radius. Parcels that I highlighted in red are the parcels against these amendments. Planning Commission recommends denial of Major Amendment Case number 2401 on the basis that the proposed change is not compatible with the adjoining land use designation to the north, west, and east. The amendment is solely for the good or benefit of this particular loaner. And lastly, the amendment will not address the oversight and consistency in the plans. And that concludes that presentation, and the applicant is present.
Okay. Would the applicant like to say anything?
Good morning. My name is Adam Martinez on behalf of Arturo Garcia. As he stated, we are looking to do a lot split. Client is looking to do a lot split in this area. We do understand that the major concern here is that they don't want to increase density, which we understand and respect. However, the land use destination for this property has been not compliant from the very beginning. It says 40 acres minimum parcel size. This has never been 40 acres, neither had the adjacent lots on the south. So we would like to, at the very least, divide it into an acre and a half for both lots, which would also match the sizes on the south. They are willing to compromise and look for another land use designation that would more satisfy the board, or if just allow them to do the lot split without changing the land use designation. Also, the clients are here in case you have any additional questions that they themselves can answer, or would you like to make a statement?
My name's Randy Solomon, and I'm here to answer any questions that you may have.
Well, I want to make a comment before too far. I mean, this is not an issue of whether the zoning designation is appropriate. This is an issue whether building there is appropriate. We do have an opinion from the Attorney General that basically precludes us from making a positive decision on issues like this. So when you get through this process where we have a legal opinion that basically precludes us from doing it, what's the purpose of having a hearing and bringing it up like this? I mean, this may be a question for legal, but I mean, we do seem to have an opinion that says that we can't make this decision. So why even bring it up?
I think the process itself just requires that we go through these steps.
Okay, I get that, right? Because I've been here a long time. But what I'm saying is, if we have a legal opinion that basically says that we can't do it, bringing it up here only puts us at odds with the legal opinion, wouldn't it?
You probably want to follow the legal opinion, which would be the final step.
Right, okay.
Okay. Thank you. We'll open it up for public comment. Do we have any public comment on this? There we go. Antonio.
Hi, good morning, Vice Chairman. Good morning, members of the board. So MCS is requesting, obviously, denial of this major amendment. The intent is to split the parcel for this residential purposes. The property is fully located within the 65-69 noise zone, and the noise zones are adopted on the Arizona Revised Statute 24-8481, the Yuma County Zone Ordinance, and the comprehensive plan as well. All these regulations state that no new residential buildings or expansions of existing residential buildings are permitted, unless it meets some exemptions, which anything that was permitted prior to 2004. So, I mean, obviously, we're 20 years past that deadline. So we're just requesting denial on this request, and we thank you for the support and the enforcement of local and state laws. So,
thank you, Antonio.
Thank you.
No question.
Yes, sir.
This will require a 2/3 majority, doesn't it, anyway, because of the opposition? It's a major amendment.
Mr. Chairman, Jesus Carrillo, no, this does not trigger a supermajority vote.
Okay. The next one,
Legal is still conferring, Tony.
well, I don't think there's much issue that this is about building another structure in the residential structure, and that's just, it isn't just the zoning that you're gonna add more to it. It's the actual fact that you're gonna build.
You want to speak at public?
Yes, for the Gray Farm Trust.
No, not yet. This was the
you,
Long
ma'am.
Family Trust.
Yeah.
We're on item number 2.
Yes, but it's with the same,
You're, yes.
the owner of the, I'm
Okay.
in the same area.
Okay, go ahead.
Your letter of opposition. Your person.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm Andrea Gray with Gray Farm Trust, and I have 2 parcels located in this area, which is APN 66711-012. My second parcel is APN.
Can we have the map back up there? Does it identify these parcels on the map? Okay.
Okay, the second parcel is APN 66711-011. And I want this denied and to remain in agriculture rural preservation.
Anything else?
I've owned the property since I was in college. My second year in college, I purchased the property, and it would mean a lot to me for it to remain in agriculture.
Okay.
I don't want it changed over to low density development.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Mr. Vice Chairman, Acting Chairman, since it's a major amendment, you're going to require a supermajority.
It will require supermajority? Okay. Do we have any additional speakers for call to the public?
I'm sorry, it's 2/3.
2/3, okay.
There we go.
We're going to close the public hearing. Bring it back to the board.
I think that the issue here is not whether we want to downzone it, because you need a major amendment, and then you need a rezoning case to come after that. When it's denied like this, it doesn't allow for the second step to be taken unless you make a decision to go in favor of it, which is really very, very difficult for me to see how you get that far with the planning commission against it, the NCAS against it, the litigation against it. It's the statutory. It's a difficult case, but it's easier in terms of having to make the decision. And I do understand the needs that people have building homes, but when they build them in the zone that it's conflicting with the landing paths, or it's an accident-prone zone. I mean, God forbid that anything would happen in there, I'd feel responsible. So I'm making a motion that we deny this, that we take the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission. We'll do that.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion is denied, 4-0. I'm sorry, do we have any yays, even though, or nays? Even though all four that are here voted against it, so, all right. Major amendment case number 24-02, PA 24-02. Mr. Barajas.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman, Acting Chairman, members of the board. Javier Barraza, Senior Planner, presenting Mayor Amendment Case PA 24-02. This is a request to change the land use designation of 3 parcels that have a combined size of 40 gross acres in size from retirement community plan unit development to regional commercial. This project is located in Don Valley Planning Area, more precisely the southeast corner of Interstate 8 and Avenue 40E. And the intent of this Mayor Amendment is to allow the applicant to request the rezoning from rural area 4-acre minimum to general commercial, to later allow the construction of a travel center. This is the land use in the city map, show the subject parcels, cross-hatch at the center of the map. See current, the land use plan new development, retirement community, it's on the south and also on the east. We got local commercial land uses on the west and mixed-use residential also on the west. For the north, we have the vicinity of Tacna with some business park land uses and local commercial uses. Properties access along Avenue 40E on the west. This is the site plan submitted by the applicant, just outlining no conceptual design. This is an aerial view. Outlined in red are the subject parcels. We have probably another travel center just west of this, and we have an RV park close by on the southeast west corner, and there's vacant land all around it, and we have I-8 on the north. This is a view looking northeast from the southwest corner. A little further north along 40E, this is another northeast view. It's the vacant parcel, level. And this is a view looking north at Avenue 40E. On the right is the subject parcels, and on the left you will see the existing gas station travel center. ADA requested that this development will require traffic impact analysis. We had a neighborhood meeting September 12, 2024, and staff did not receive any comments or concerns from residents present at that time. The Planning Commission recommends approval of Mayor Amendment Case PA 24-02 based on the criteria listed on the present slide. Mr. Chairman, that concludes staff's presentation.
Thank you. Any questions for Javier? We'll open up the public comment. Going once, going twice, 3 times. We'll close public comment, bring it back to the board.
I'll make a motion that we approve the major amendment case number
Second.
2402 as presented.
A motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any nays? Motion carries.
No, if I explain it, it's gonna take some time. No.
Okay. Item number 4, Development Services Planning and Zoning, rezoning case 24-17.
Good morning, Richard Munguia, Senior Planner. Practice with this. Okay. This request is to rezone a parcel approximately 3.71 gross acres in size from rural area 10-acre minimum to suburban ranch 1-acre minimum. Property is located at 3315 East County 15th Street, and the intent is to develop 3 residential lots. Okay, let's see. So this property right here is the one that we are proposing to rezone, or the applicant is proposing to rezone. In 2021, the owner of the property at the time applied for a minor amendment to change the land use designation from rural density residential to suburban density residential, with the intent to split this property into 2 parcels. The property was sold before the split occurred. So the current land use designation does support this request. The subject property is highlighted in red. Properties in yellow are zoned RA10. Properties in green are SSB2. Properties in brown, RA5. And finally, the property in blue is zoned SR3. This shows the approximate location of the property. This here is the layout, the proposed layout that the applicant is proposing to develop if the rezone is approved. Oops. There will be 3 parcels, roughly 1.14 acres each. The development would not be served with potable water or sewage disposal, and each property would require its own individual sewage disposal and water well systems. This view is looking northeast at the property in its current condition. There were no comments received from outside agencies, and we did receive 1 letter in opposition.
Just want to understand this. That letter in opposition did not reach the minimum standard for us to have a supermajority vote, right?
That is correct.
Any questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Isn't it that minimum is 2-acre suburban ranch in that area? And that would, on all the other parcels are a minimum of 2 acres?
So all the other parcels in that area are at least 2 acres in size. The board did approve a minor amendment to change that section there to allow for 1 acre minimum.
When did?
That happened in 2021. The owner at the time applied for the minor amendment to change it from rural density residential to suburban density residential. And suburban density residential does support 1 acre minimum. The request that they're proposing.
Any additional comments from the board? We'll open up.
This has access to all roadways. It has access to.
That's correct.
right away.
Yeah, it's got access on, I think it is.
It's not served by any irrigation district.
On the west side it does. I'm sorry, what was that?
It is not served by any of the irrigation districts. Because it says he needs a well and he needs his own septic tank.
Yes, let me find that out. Hold on 1 second, please.
We always try to make sure that they build that.
It's located within the Yuma Mesa Irrigation and Drainage District.
Oh, so it would have to have, we would put in, we would require turnouts.
Let's see what the requirements are.
Schedules for development is the next slide, this one. Staff is recommending approval.
Mm-hmm.
It says with the means of irrigation access to irrigation water. So there is a requirement, a performance requirement.
Good, okay, that helps.
Okay.
We'll open up the public hearing. Applicant want to say anything? Quit while you're ahead, is that what you're saying? Okay. We'll close the public hearing, bring it back to the board.
I'll make a motion that we go ahead and approve rezoning case number 2417 as presented by the Planning and Zoning Division and the staff.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Now we will open up the legislative discussion calendar. We'll turn the time over to Alejandro. ¿Dónde está? Oh, he put his tie on. I was looking for somebody without a tie on.
I took mine off. It's looking good.
It was too early for a tie. Good morning, Alejandro Figueroa, Economic Development and Intergovernmental Affairs Director for Yuma County. I'll be presenting the legislative update to the board today. I'll start with great news. At the November 14th meeting of the County Supervisors Association Board of Directors,
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yuma County Supervisor
Lots of
Lynn
work.
Pancrasi was unanimously elected by her colleagues to serve as CSA's president for the upcoming year. As president of CSA, Supervisor Pancrasi will lead the organization's board of directors in 2025 and develop strategies that will strengthen Arizona's counties at the state and federal levels. She will also chair CSA's Legislative Policy Committee, a group of 15 supervisors that meets weekly during the legislative session to process policy proposals, and will perform additional duties in support of all 15 counties. Also last week, members of the County Supervisors Association Executive Committee met with Governor Katie Hobbs to discuss matters of importance to their counties and their communities, including association priorities relating to the ongoing cost shift relating to the Department of Juvenile Corrections, the importance of the state meeting its obligation to state funding probation officers, and much more, according to the CSA. So congratulations to Supervisor Pancrasi.
Thank you. Lots of work.
As far as elections go, and these are still preliminary, not official, the legislature seems to remain in control of the Republican Party. On our side of the story, on Legislative District 25, Nicholas Cupper is going to be replacing Representative Tim Dunn at the House, while Mr. Dunn was elected to take over Senator Kerr's seat in the Senate. And Mr. Michael Carbone, Representative Carbone, was re-elected. On District 23, Representative Pena and Representative Sandoval lead the race for the two House seats, while Senator Fernandez seems to have a substantial lead over Michelle Alter at the moment. So the three of them on District 23 are very likely to be re-elected.
With our 8,000 votes left to count, that shouldn't really change the tallies much, right?
Right. That's our assumption, yes, sir. Continuing with the state elections, the Republican and Democratic caucuses in each of the chambers selected leaders last week. The Republicans in the House elected Representative Montenegro as the new House Speaker. It is worth noting that one of our legislators, Representative Carbone, will serve as the House Majority Leader, which is a really good news for Yuma County. And over at the Senate, Senator-elect Tim Dunn will serve as Vice Chair of the Senate's Natural Resources Committee. Also good news for Yuma County. On the federal elections, as you probably well know, Republicans will be controlling both chambers of Congress. Republicans agreed to have seized control of both chambers of U.S. Congress, and there's a map for your review. As far as Arizona goes, Senator-elect Gallego, Congressman Gallego has been unofficially elected as senator and will be replacing Kirsten Sinema in the Senate. Congressman Grijalba and Gosar were reelected, so that gives continuity to our relationships with those offices. President-elect Trump has started filling his appointment positions, about 20 as of right now, and some will be needing confirmation from the Senate. Rumors has it that some Arizonans have a good shot at being called to serve under the president-elect's administration. A few of them are Kari Lake, Jeff DeWitt, Blake Masters, and Mark Lamb. The Senate decided to elect a new majority leader, which will be John Thune, after Mitch McConnell's tenure of 18 years as the Senate GOP leader. Thune has served as Senate Republican whip, the number 2 ranking position in the Senate GOP leadership since 2019, and largely managed operation of the Senate floor after McConnell suffered a concussion from a fall in 2023. Now, on the international front, we've Mr. Porteous, Chairman Porteous, I'm sorry, received a letter from Mr. What's his name? Watson. Yes, I'm sorry. The copy of letter I have is really small too. He is the administrator of the Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service at the USDA. This letter is in response to the letter the board sent out back in August asking for the USDA to appoint a full-time identifier, also known as an entomologist, to the San Luis port of entry.
Yes.
The letter states that the identifier is currently 3 weeks at the port of entry full-time and 2 weeks here. 2 days here. 3 days out of the week at the port of entry in San Luis and 2 days here in Yuma. They recognize that port of entry has different demands during the different seasons, and they're willing to adjust as demand changes at the port of entry. Now, I have followed based on direction I got from Chairman Porteous and County Administrator McGahey. I've asked for a follow-up meeting or a meeting with him in person or via Zoom to just convey our desire to have somebody there full-time during the whole week. That's what I got for you as far as USDA and their.
I mean, this letter sort of is like reaffirming what we already know. What I'd like to know is what is he doing in Yuma? I mean, everything that he has identified is in San Luis. So why is he spending 2 days in Yuma other than his personal effort? And this letter just seems to reaffirm that. It says we'll change it based upon port traffic. But that doesn't say we'll do 4 days, 5 days, or nothing. It just says he's doing 3 days in San Luis and he's doing 2 days in Yuma. Our question is, what's he doing in Yuma? His work is in San Luis. If they need immediate attention, then they got to contact him in Yuma. He's got to drive to San Luis. It delays through 2 or 3 hours the possible solution of a simple issue. So if you meet with him again, just tell him our quest is for the entomologist to be present in San Luis so that it speeds up the process. It isn't just to find out that they'll do this. The second question is, what is he doing in Yuma? Is he serving San Luis? If he's serving San Luis, he'll serve in Yuma. It's the same thing. He can drive to Yuma if there's an issue in Yuma, which I'm sure that it would be just a traffic, what do you call it, on route type of situation. It wouldn't be a crossing situation, which is what we get into. Those delays are causing a problem in San Luis because they have to find the entomologist in Yuma. I don't understand. From this response, I don't understand if they are acknowledging the need to add it or they're just repeating what we already know. We know that he spends 3 days in San Luis and 2 days in Yuma. The question is, why is he staying in Yuma? Okay? Why is he not in San Luis?
Mr. Chairman and Alejandro, he needs to get all of his equipment and move it down to San Luis because they have the facilities for it, and he needs to stay, needs to be in San Luis. The whole purpose of having an entomologist in San Luis is to increase the number of crossings. And once they know that there's a full-time entomologist there at the San Luis port, that should increase the number of crossings. And that's the whole point, is without an entomologist, they're going to Calexico where they can get through in half an hour instead of 2.5 hours while they find the entomologist. So would you reiterate that we want an entomologist full-time at the second port?
Mr. Chairman, as well as Pancras Reyes, I will definitely make sure that we convey that message to USDA. Now, I'm also working on preparing a port of entry update, San Luis 1 port of entry expansion and construction project. On December 4th, we'll be meeting with the authorities of Mexico to find out what's the update on their side. Forefront DD Executive Director and I will be meeting with their leaders down in San Luis. Then on November 21st, this week, GSA will be providing a monthly update to the city of San Luis on our side of the project, and the city will be sharing that update with the county as soon as they get it. I also want to share with the board that I'll be meeting with the U.S. Consul General from in Tijuana, who's going to be traveling to San Luis to tour both San Luis 1 and 2, and we'll be having lunch with Mayor Rydell. So the State Department is sending two high-level ranking officials to the area on December 6th to get a tour of the both ports of entry. Also on the border, Governor Hobbs is announcing today in Santa Cruz County that she'll be sending the National Guard to the board to combat drug trafficking in the state of Arizona. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, that'll conclude my presentation. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Alejandro?
Yeah, why is Tom here? I see him in the background. Is he farther in the agenda, or is he just visiting? Tom Dorn.
He's visiting us?
He's visiting? I don't know. He's not on the agenda.
Not on today's agenda. No.
All right, got it.
All right, thank you, Alejandro.
Thank you.
And now we'll hear our reports from the Board of Supervisors. Start with Lynn.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't have it all organized like
Okay,
I
we'll come back to
usually
you, Lynn.
do. Come back to me.
Let's
Thank
go
you.
way down there to Darren.
Attended the Walton Mohawk Irrigation District Board meeting, was at the Gold Star dedication for Foothills Community Park, which was, I think, outstanding. Had attended the ACO meeting, had a community meeting out in the foothills, participated in the Veterans Day Parade out in Welton, attended the Ag Tech Expo over at U of A, which was very enlightening. Shows a lot to what our broadband's going to and how it's advancing technology in our area. I had a meeting with the County Attorney's Office and some others, reference animal control. Took a tour of the new solar facility in Venergy out in the foothills, which was very interesting, and attended the Tri-Valley Ambulance Benefit.
Thank you very much. Tony?
I attended the Vision Group. We had a Vision Group meeting at San Luis. It's been a busy time election-wise. It's been kind of a hard to keep up type of thing situation. So it's been like busy on election procedures and election stuff. We should all discuss later. So I'm gonna leave it at that.
Okay, thanks, Tony. Lynn.
I was in the Veterans Day Parade with Tony.
Oh, that's right. We were in the
Yes,
Veterans Day
yes. And there was a amazing turnout of people. It was 3 deep along 4th Avenue of families, and it was amazing. It was a wonderful, wonderful turnout for our veterans.
Beautiful day.
And it was a beautiful day, that's right. I attended the 100th drug court graduation. Let's see. I met with Craig Sullivan at CSA on Wednesday, went and did the CSA executive board meeting and then the regular meeting, and then attended a meeting with the governor in her office on the 14th, and that's it.
Okay, thank you very much. Of course, lots of interesting occurrences around the election. We'll look forward to those conversations, Tony.
And they're not conversations anymore.
I'm done with that.
On the phone nonstop with administration, county attorney's office, constituents, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh,
Okay.
no kidding.
Participated in the Gold Star dedication. That was a wonderful opportunity. And then I spoke to the United States Wheat Coalition last week in Phoenix on behalf of Michael Edgar and Barclay Seed and Grain, talking to them about water and the border, and then participated in the Crossing executive business meeting. And there was a couple of other things in there, but I'm sure I'll remember them later.
Yeah.
All right. If there's nothing else from the board, we'll go to Ian.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Also attended the Gold Star Memorial dedication, Arizona Association of Counties visit, Campesinos Sin Fronteras Gala in Somerton, remotely attended the County Managers Association meeting and also the Arizona County Insurance Pool. Went to Supervisor Simmons' community meeting, as always, very well attended. We also piggybacked on that with the strategic plan community input meeting. There's another strategic plan community input meeting that I attended at the main library. Alejandro also joined us for that, as Josh Scott was there at both of those. The Visit Yuma 2025 Visitor Guide Reveal event. You have copies of that new guide as gifts from Visit Yuma on the dais. Also attended the Drug Court 100th graduation, which was great, and the ribbon cutting for the Desert Difference Ag Tech Conference. That's it. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you very much.
Just want to emphasize a couple of things that you might have forgotten. We have a special meeting on Wednesday. At what time?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman, Supervisor Reyes. Yes, right now it's scheduled for Wednesday at 9. There is some discussion of possibly moving that to Thursday at 9.
Won't be in.
Yeah.
So
We'll see if
we're just
Martin's better or not.
I really like to participate. I mean, this is getting to be a little bit long in the tooth here. This is, taking up to the last day. I mean, I don't know how many votes you got left to count, but if it was 4,000, 5,000, it should be done.
9,000.
Yeah, but I mean, the fact is that we're supposed to be counting up to 4,000 or 5,000 a
I
day.
know, I agree.
So,
I wouldn't mind moving it to like noon if you have to move it, or 1 if they need some time in the morning to put it together. But I cannot be here Thursday, and I'd love to be able to participate in the canvassing because I like to make a couple of statements regarding preparations. So if you have to move it later. I'll be here, all day Wednesday. So if you're thinking about giving them a little more time to finish, you may want to give them the morning of the day, but if you give them a full extra day, they'll take it. It's kind of a little bit, like I said, it's kind of a little controversial now. It's becoming a little bit too long. There's some races to be decided, especially the one in San Luis, which have kept every one of us at the edge. So please, if you have to reconsider the time, don't reconsider the date, because if the chairman isn't available and I'm not available and something, God forbid, happens to one of you, then you won't be able to canvass, and that will make it even more controversial.
that's right.
Yeah, right now, Wednesday, Supervisor Lyons is not available. So we're looking at
Wednesday,
likely
you're not?
for
Wow.
either day. So yes, we'll certainly take that into consideration.
Well, could we entertain 5 o'clock?
Sure.
Well, I have a board meeting at 6, so 5 o'clock is fine.
We can get you a sheriff's escort, probably.
I don't need a chair, but just need a
I know.
pathway in the sheriff.
Get Leon to drive you down there.
Oh, at 4 o'clock.
Well, I guess we'll be in touch.
I'll be in communications with Recorder and Elections and each of you to make sure you're available.
It starts at 9, gets over at 12, and then I've got to drive back.
Right, I can accommodate that. I can accommodate it, but I mean, I can't accommodate it. Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay, so this meeting is adjourned. Oh, sorry, I apologize.
We gotta go to
executive.
We go to
Okay.
executive.
Just an update, special counsel's about 10 minutes out.
Okay.
We could recess for 10 or so minutes and then come
recess
back
for 10
in and
minutes,
open
yeah.
up in regular session and
So
then.
we're not going to adjourn into executive session. We'll just
No, we'll
recess
just
for 10
recess
minutes
for
and then
10.
come back.
That sounds good.
They just don't know how efficient we are today. Reconvene, okay, go ahead, you let me know, give me the high sign. Welcome back to regular session. Tony?
Yeah, I got it. Oh, yeah, motion? You
Yeah.
need a motion?
Yes.
Motion to go back into regular session before?
No, executive.
I
I
did that.
reconvene.
Okay, the motion to go into executive session.
Okay,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
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 All right,
There's an echo in here.
Well, it's going away here in just a
going into
second.
executive session.